All right, everybody, welcome. My name is Chris, the Batman Statue Collector, and we have a very, very special show with us today. Is an amazing YouTuber. You probably know him already, but he is Jedha Patrol. Welcome to the show, sir.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for having me on here. I am excited to be on the Batman Statue Collector channel. You may not, we didn't talk about this, but I remember watching your channel when you were at your other space, and it had like the angled ceiling thing, right?
That's right, the bat attic.
So I've been watching a while, so I'm excited to be here, man.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we're so glad to have you on. And for those of you that maybe don't know about his channel, can you tell us a little bit about what you do over there on your channel?
I'll be glad to do that. On my channel, focus on 6-scale collectibles, and I enable people to spend way more money than they really should on things that they don't need. And it's fantastic. So hot toys, 6-scale. I'm diving into statues, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point here. But mainly, I love posing figures. I love photographing figures. I enjoy Star Wars, Marvel, whatever it is. I'm just a nerd, and I like nerd stuff.
That's right. Well, our channels sound very similar, and our community sounds very similar as well. We enable all of these other collectors because we just enjoy it so very much. And like you said, you focus primarily on the figures themselves, which we do more statues. And I know that you, through some conversations we've had, that you've collected. Maybe started out with one, and now how many do you have in your collection right now?
Yeah, I've got about 10 right now in the house, and another half dozen or so on the way over the next little bit, with my eye on a few more. And I'm blaming you for being an enabler as well, by the way.
Me? What are you talking
about? because honestly, you something you recently picked up or recently pre-ordered. I think today actually is when I saw the post. I pre-ordered that item today, and good God, that thing's awesome.
Yeah, we're talking about the Catwoman 1/3 scale from Queen Studios. A big weekend recently here with Wonderfest in Shanghai. Absolutely an insane event. Just blows your mind what they're putting out. But like you said, enabling is definitely part of this hobby. When we're talking about statues, especially because I kind of started out with some small scale statues, but I also started out with hot toys. I had the Dark Knight hot toys. I had the Jack Sparrow. I had some Star Wars hot toys as well. And I was really excited about those pieces. But then whenever I got to see the very first big statue, it changed my mind. Like, I completely was blown away. And that's where I switched from hot toys to statues. But we'll talk about that a little bit, because tonight's theme is kind of like statues versus figures, to kind of get your thoughts on, maybe why figures are better than statues. So I'm curious to pick your brain a little bit. But I do want to talk a little bit.
It's going to be like that. We're going to duke it out. All right.
That's right. We're just going to bring it right off the beginning like this. That's awesome. That's right. Now I noticed how, I was looking at your channel recently, and like you said, I've been watching you for a while as well. But I know you kind of started out doing more of like pops and Funko Pops and things like that. How did you, which are incredibly popular, incredibly collectible, it's overwhelming to say the very least, because there's literally a Funko Pop for everything in this universe. How did you transition from them over to the hot toys type of collectibles?
Ooh. All right, that's a very good question from I want to put it this way. I've always collected both. I just didn't feature hot toys on the channel. That makes sense. So I bought hot toys when I was starting off. I bought Funko Pops. I bought way more Funko Pops than hot toys, just due to a $10 price tag. So I bought piles of those.
Sure.
But I always collected both. And so I made the decision last year, and it took me, it took me about 4 months of focus to transition the channel from Funko Pops to 6-scale figures and statues. So it took about that, and I did it with a purpose, because I knew that if I just said, "Hey, look, Funko Pop content is gone today. We're going to do this," my views would be like, they would just die. I just knew that. I've seen that happen with other channels. So I purposefully transitioned it in there, and here's been the fun part. This is the fun part. So many people came with me on that ride that are huge hot toy collectors now that used to be Funko Pop collectors. And they sold their Funko Pops and funded hot toys or statues or other collectibles or whatever. And it is crazy how many people have made that transition. It's nuts.
Well, we've talked about it here on the channel before, where it's interesting whenever you are talking about collectibles. A lot of people stair step. You start with maybe action figures, then go to Funko Pops, and then go to Hot Toys, and then maybe statues or whatever. It is interesting to see how the community does. They're always kind of wanting to build up, and I guess we do that by nature. If you have a house, you want to maybe get a bigger house or a better car. We tend to do that. We always try to move up. And so that's very interesting you said that, because I think that's exactly true, just kind of by nature. Now, I know that you are collecting statues, but you still collect primarily the Hot Toys, correct?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Just purely because I like to pose things. I have fun. Yeah. I enjoy it.
Well, the main thing is that in the statue collecting community, we look sometimes, and this has been kind of the controversial thing, is that some people love Hot Toys, but some people view them kind of as dolls. And I definitely, have you heard that? Do you get that as a channel primarily about figures? Do you get that a lot? Like, I think that there's a little bit of animosity sometimes between the figure collectors and the polystone collectors.
Well, I would say that anybody who uses the D word,
be shunned. You'll be shunned forever.
We don't use that word.
Yes.
But there will always, I don't care what you collect, there will always be somebody looking down at you. Always. Whether it's somebody who's collected quarter scale statues and then the half scale people look down on them, or the life-size bust people go, why would you want a third scale when you can get this awesome life-size? There is always somebody who's going to look down on you for whatever you want to collect. Screw that. Collect what you like. That's what I say.
Well, that's exactly correct. And we preach that on this channel as well. And it is amazing. There's always going to be some sort of hate. There's always going to be some sort of, disappointment from various collectors. But I would say, like, why dwell on that? Like, if you don't like those figures and you feel that way about them, then, don't collect them, don't, find what else you like. Right.
Yeah. I no longer collect Funko Pops. But I don't go around telling Funko Pop collectors you suck. I don't do that. You collect if you want 1,000 of them, buy 1,000 of them. I don't care. What I just decided is I don't want to do that anymore. That's all. And if it's your money, your income, you should be able to buy whatever the heck you want to buy if you have that exposable income to do so. And I just think you ought to do that. And I tell all the time, collect what you like. And I don't care if you buy life-size busts or Ferraris or I don't care what you buy, because it doesn't affect me at all. Like, what you collect, at the end of the day, like, I don't sit here and think about, man, that Batman statue collector, man. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't affect me. So I just buy the stuff I like.
That's exactly right. Now, I'm curious as to what first attracted you to Hot Toys in the first place. I mean, I know you said you were collecting at the same time as Funkos, but like, what about the Hot Toys did you say, wow, I need to get one of those? Okay,
so that one's really easy. So I have a background in photography, so actors, actresses, models, fashion, that kind of stuff. And so I have a background on that, and I was doing that for years and years and years. And I wanted to use that photography skill in something that when I wasn't shooting that I wanted to shoot like toys, and I wanted the most realistic ones to photograph. That's really what it came down to. I looked at Marvel Legends, looked at Black Series figures, looked at all these things, and you're going, those are great toys. But when I saw the Hot Toys Ray and BB-8, that was my first ever one I bought. Ray and BB-8, and then K2SO after seeing Rogue One, and I saw how realistic they were. There was no turning back. That was it. So realism and photography merged together, and that's how I ended up with way more than I probably should have.
Is it J.C. Hong? Is that the name of the sculptor that absolutely incredible? And I first heard about Hot Toys, and like I said, I was collecting some Dark Knight figures. I had the Heath Ledger and the Batman Begins and some of those pieces back in what was that, 2007, I guess. Yeah, it's been a while, and I was just blown away by not only the head sculpts but also the tailoring on these statues, and they've only gotten better. It's just amazing to me. And the head sculpts, like, I thought they were great 10 years ago, But now it's just like, does it just blow your mind when you see some of these?
They're crazy. I mean, I've got the newer Kylo Ren up there, and it's insane how they can get that much detail on this little. It's unbelievable. And like statues, they don't nail it all the time. There's some out there that you go, yeah, somebody went to lunch on that one, you know. But generally, I mean, you can't beat them. And here's the interesting thing. We're talking about the transition from collecting, you know, one thing to the smaller to the bigger. And I know every collector out there has been there, whether it's statues or Hot Toys, or whatever, is they look at like their first Hot Toy figure. And the average price for a Hot Toy figure is like $250, just roundabouts there. And somebody who's collecting Marvel Legends or Funko Pops or whatever, looking at that, they're going, I could never, and I was there. It's like, I could never spend $250 on that action figure. Like you people are crazy. Like, that's insane. And you go through that phase and you get your first one and it's like your child. You go, this is freaking amazing. And then it's not like how many, and it's not like I'm going to buy the next Stormtrooper. It's how many Stormtroopers do I need? You start army building. Right. I don't think is army building a thing in Statue Land? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I have seen like they have some of the Star Wars premium formats where you have to have a couple stormtroopers around Darth Vader. You have to have a couple of Royal Guards. You know, they just came out with that premium format recently. So there is a little bit of that for sure. But like I'm listening to you talk about 250. Like I miss those days of thinking that way. Like I thought my first big statue was like $250 or $300. I'm like, there's no way my wife is ever going to allow that to go. It's going to be an argument. I spent $3,000 today. So listening to you say 250, I'm like, oh my God, that sounds so fantastic to be able to only spend $250. It's crazy, right?
Yeah. And then somebody's going to watch this. Somebody's going to watch this video and go, these guys are insane. And the fact that, yes, we are 100%. Yes. But there's value. There's a value in these things, I think, whether statues or figures or whatever. And you're right. The $250 price tag, at least now, it's starting to creep up to that $350 range. Hot Toys is kind of inflation, and that's the thing. It is kind of crazy. And I've started buying statues, and I'm looking at some of them that I recently picked up the most expensive piece I've ever bought. Which is that Prime 1 T-Rex on the Rotunda. That's the most expensive piece I've bought. That's $2,000. And I know that, and I already know the next one will be $3,000 or $4,000 or whatever. I already know that's just a stepping stone. I already know it.
It is.
But I'm like you. What you said earlier about the wife coming in and going, "You're crazy. How are you gonna sneak this box in like through the back door?" You're like, don't you need to go to Target? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And you started getting these things in, and I hope your wife's probably like mine, where at this point they just go, it is what it is. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. It just is what it is, and
that's right.
They give up.
That's right. Well, I always keep my money separate from the family's money. So it's like, whatever I make or whatever I do with this channel or whatever, it's all separate. So that's the key. It's like, if I was spending all of our lunch money, like that would be a problem, I think, for sure with the family. But yeah, like my wife's so cool about stuff now. It's like, I like to show her stuff and she's like, yeah, that's cool. That sucks, whatever. She's brutally honest for sure, which is fun. But, yeah, you're right.
Mine would go, why are you showing me this? I don't know who this is. That's what I would say.
Right.
She has no idea.
That's right. Well, just before we move on, I just want to everybody out there watching to please make sure you subscribe to his channel. Again, it's Jedha Patrol. He gets figure reviews very, very early. So it's, you're going to get to see some of this stuff before anybody else. And so I definitely recommend his channel. And again, we'll talk about that at the very end of this show. But please do me a favor and make sure you give him a subscribe. Make sure you like his videos and please comment. Join that community, because just like the statue collecting community, the figure collecting community is another ball game of great people, great supportive people as well. So definitely check out his channel. Okay, so I did want to make sure I said that right now. Would you ever switch completely to statues? Like, could you ever foresee yourself just ripping off the Band-Aid like I did years ago? I ripped off the Hot Toys Band-Aid and just went to the good side of statue collecting. Could you ever see yourself doing that?
To the good side?
I told you this is the battle today. I told you.
Oh, man. Oh, the good side. Let's see here. All right. I don't think so. No. And here's why. Like I said earlier, I enjoy creating scenes with the figures. I enjoy creating my own fight scenes, creating the photography side of it. Enjoy that. I enjoy the manipulating and changing out parts and like hands and weapons and putting Deadpool in the Star Wars universe or the Marvel universe or wherever else he needs to go. I don't think so. I definitely see me buy more statues because I already have. I see that happening. And I could see me having a separate statue collection, like a statue room. I could see that. But just like ripping the Band-Aid off and doing that, I mean, would you sell all your collection and switch to Star Wars? I mean,
no, no, I couldn't. At least not at this point, anyway. That's for sure. But
maybe if you asked me 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah, I don't think so. There's definitely statues I want to add to the collection for sure. But no, I don't think so. Not at this stage. I don't think so. I'm going to stay on the dark side of the Sith in the action figure world.
That's right. That's right. Well, and one thing I really like is to me, you're an artist. Like, you're a photographer. You also like to tell stories. You're a storyteller as well. So I love that side of your channel. I think that's really awesome that you do that. Speaking of the figures, what is your favorite figure in your collection? And what is your favorite figure line, like Star Wars or Marvel or, I know you're not DC, but
I've got Nightmare Batman down here, man. I got it.
Now, there you go. There you go. Nice.
Favorite figure is always going to be, I'll say always, it's generally be K2SO from Rogue One.
Nice.
Love it. I wish they would reissue it so more people can enjoy that figure. That would be great. But K2SO was the very first figure I put a deposit on. Nice. Not the first figure I had in hand because I had to wait the year to get it.
Sure.
That was the very first one that I actually put money down on, and that was the most scary. Like hitting pre-order, sweating, going $250. Oh God, I'm gonna die here, And that was that. But outside of K2SO, Hulkbuster, Hot Toys Hulkbuster is just there's nothing you can say about that. If you haven't seen it in person, it is unbelievable. It's the most expensive Hot Toys they've made. It's $1,200, but it's freaking amazing. And I would highly encourage anybody who is an Iron Man collector to buy one. And I know it's scary and I know it's pricey. And yes, I'm being an enabler, but
that's what we do. Man. That's what we do, right?
It really here and it really like Queen Studios previewed their quarter scale Hulkbuster, and I really want that too.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It's again $3,000, and it's massive. Oh my gosh, like what a centerpiece in your collection. But I have seen the Hot Toys in person. I believe in New York actually. Whenever I was visiting a couple years back, and just an incredible piece. And that was going to be one of my questions: is that your most expensive piece in your collection? Just not statue related, but the figure related.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's got the highest price tag retail, so I'd say that's $1,200. I've got some other figures that have become valuable over time just due to rarity and been old and that kind of stuff. They're like value wise. The Rogue One line has been priced skyrocketing because people are finally realizing that that's an amazing film. Yeah, and so now people are going, oh, wait a minute, I like the film. I got to pay how much?
Yeah, that's right. And I feel like that was a film ahead of its time for sure. It's interesting how it's kind of, it's a beautiful film. Kind of depressing a little bit, but it's definitely tells the story of the beginning of Star Wars, which is, just absolutely fantastic. I have another question that I know is kind of a hot button topic right now. And I know I've got some friends on Rogues Gallery Live that collect, his name's Jeff Morris. He collects Hot Toys, and there's been so many reissues lately. What is the community feeling about that? How do you feel about reissues? All of these new, the Bat Pod coming back out and these Iron Man coming back out, like all of these, rare pieces. What do you think about that?
So I recently did a video on reissues and like different camps people would be in, and I've put polls up there, all that kind of stuff. Generally here, I think this is the crux of the matter. Because like we said, both communities are growing exponentially. There are so many new collectors coming in that honestly, they want the opportunity to own those figures that they didn't know existed at the time, or maybe they didn't have the funds to buy it at the time it was released. There's a lot of that. Or they were collecting something else, Funko Pops, Marvel Legends, whatever. And they want to start getting these things now, and they don't have the opportunity to get these. So they are super excited about these reissues. They are like energized, going, hell yeah, I didn't have to spend $1,100 on War Machine Mark I. Now I can buy it for $400, right? So they're super excited. And there's other camps, but the other camp is I want the exclusivity. I want I want to be able to check it on my box and say, I own this and you don't. And I have something rare, and I want the internal pride to say I have something that you don't, right? There's two different basic camps. Yeah. I understand both. I get it. However, Hot Toys are not limited edition. They don't have edition sizes. I don't think it was ever the intent of Hot Toys to have a collectible that people couldn't buy or they couldn't access. I don't think that was the intent. Versus a statue that, like you said, like a 300 edition size, like that's what you're going to get. That's it, and we're moving on to the next piece.
Yep. I
don't think Hot Toys has that intent. So generally, people are pretty happy with the reissues. However, there is one other piece of the puzzle because of the. Like I said, Star Wars, I think, has 40 figures outstanding that they need to produce. Marvel has 40 figures outstanding they need to produce over the next year and a half or so that we have on pre-order. DC, I think, has got 8, something like that. Hot Toys isn't really big into DC.
No.
But instead of reissues, the collectors who have been collecting for a while, who already own these figures, they would really rather Hot Toys release something that is new. And so I understand that camp too. For example, like Rogue One, they haven't made a Baze Malbus. They haven't made a Cassian or a Bodhi Rook, or, they haven't made these other characters. Well, we'd much rather have a Padme Amidala from Attack of the Clones with the midriff suit and the whole thing, right, versus the Iron Man that you already made.
Yes.
So I see all angles of this, but I think generally people are happy for the most part.
That's good. I think probably resellers, maybe like eBay people, are probably not very happy or something like that. I could see that sort of thing.
They had the War Machine diecast Mark I from Iron Man 2. There was one on eBay that just sold for $1,100 on May 16th.
Wow. And
then on June 5th, they announced that they're going to make this new one, and it's $375.
Right. Yeah.
So, I kind of feel bad for that person who bought it for $1,100. Yeah. At the same time, we got to wait 2 years to get it, and you're going to enjoy it.
That's true.
That's very, you just paid a speed tax.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, it's interesting that you said, about the characters that people want, like it's the same in the statue collecting community. We want a Riddler. All the Batman people, we want all these characters, Two-Face, all that they haven't ever made, but they keep making a Batman and a Joker and Harley Quinn. They keep making the same characters over and over again because that's clearly what sells. Sometimes I think they're beholden to the license, what the license wants as well. But it's interesting that both of our camps kind of want the same thing. We just want new characters. We want to experience that new character that they just don't tend to do. So it's really cool.
And in the Hot Toys world, and I think you mainly collect comic-based characters, right?
Yeah, for the most part. Some movies.
And in Hot Toys world, there aren't any. They're all film-based.
Yeah.
I would love for them to dive into comic land. I would jump up and down for some comic, even the comic X-Men. Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, I would go broke buying all the XP and all the villains and all. I'd be in.
Why do you think they haven't gone that route?
I like to think it's licensing. That's the only thing I can really, because the market is, I think the collector market is way bigger in the comic world than it is in the film world. There's way more. I don't know, man. Licensing may be a thing. It might be fear.
Yeah.
Maybe they're afraid because they make so much money on the films. Those figures. Maybe because there's 17 different variants of Cyclops in the comics throughout the last 70 years.
Yeah.
You know, which one do you pick and you piss off this group, or this group's happy? And I don't know.
Well, they could just go the Funko route and make all of them, make all 7 or whatever, and then if they're going to make everybody happy, they can keep the prices low. $250. I mean, again, the price points on these are really great if you're a Hot Toys collector for sure. But it's interesting. It's interesting how close our camps are. It's just like we have so many different similarities, even though there are a lot of differences between figure collecting and statue collecting. The basics are there, so it's really very interesting.
It is. We're all nerds at heart, man.
We are, absolutely, and it comes down to collect what you love, right? Collect what you love.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, I think I'm going to wrap up the show again. Please visit Jedha Patrol. He has an amazing channel. If you like the content from this channel, you're going to like his content. Absolutely. He just does an amazing job. Please do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like his videos. And please tell him the Batman Statue Collector sent you. And hopefully we'll be able to do some more of these collaboration videos. I would absolutely love to do more with you. Absolutely. So comment down below if you want to see that and let us know. Yeah, absolutely. And a little spoiler alert, we did a video together for your channel, so definitely make sure you check out that video as well. So that was a lot of fun to do that video with you. And again, hopefully there'll be plans to do more in the future. That'll be a lot of fun. Absolutely. So again, with that said, please make sure you subscribe. Definitely, is there other social media? I know you have Facebook. What other social media can people find you on? Instagram, Facebook, obviously. And believe it or not, I'm on the flipping TikTok. I know. I tell you, I did it too, and I had a video blow up to over 1 million views, and I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I know. It was just insane. I did a room tour, and I never ever thought of why I would never be on TikTok, but yeah, we have to be on TikTok now. You gotta be. So I'm just now tipping my toe in the water of TikTok. That's right. It's a different world. I'll put it out there. It sure is. It's very addictive too. I mean, you could scroll for hours. So yeah, absolutely. So definitely check out Jedha Patrol again on all of those social media platforms. And just thank you guys so very much for checking out the video. And thanks for being here today. I really appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. Y'all have a good one. All right. Take care. And we'll see you next time right here in the Bat Cave. Good night, everybody.